everybody, this is Ardus and Sam with Cajun Couple Trucking. What we're going to talk about tonight is just being courteous and to your fleet manager. So hold on and we'll be right back. Well, we're back, guys. You see Coconut back here? See her? She's on the bed just wondering, hey, what are y'all doing? And we got extra stuff in here because we bought Christmas for the grandkids and all. Oh, forgot to hook up my mic. Give me a second. Okay, we're back. Hopefully our mic is picking up really well. It's been a little bit since we've used it, and let me adjust the camera a little bit. There we go. Anyway, we may not talk in the Facebook pages very much. We do like our daughter. We are in the Prime Uncensored, the Prime Really Uncensored, a couple other Prime groups. Just for the laughs. I mean, honestly, it's just, and sometimes we feel bad for these new people that are out there that people are suggesting different things to do. One guy posted the other day, look what my trainee did. He got us stuck in a situation, and he recorded one side of the trailer, walked over the catwalk, recorded the other side of the trailer, and was like, what do we do? For one, you're a trainer, you should know. If you don't have enough experience, then you should be. But they couldn't. There wasn't enough room to crank up. Okay, for one, if your trainee puts you in there, congratulate that dude, because it was only like an inch, 2 inches on each side. Congratulate that guy because he got it in that tight spot. Number two, if you're hooking up, then your trainee didn't get you in that spot. That yard dog did. And the easiest way to get through that, and the most experienced way, I don't care what people say, adjust your level so that it lifts a little bit higher, pull it out, crank it, whatever. No, you detach. Go back up to the office and tell them, send the yard dog to pull it out. There's not enough room for me to go and crank that handle. Pull out enough to where I can crank the handle, and I'll go gladly hook back up to it. No yard wants you to hurt your back, your leg, your knee, your hip, your elbow, hurt yourself in any way. They all have signs somewhere in the facility that states if you can't crank it, if it's having too much, it's too high, too low, whatever, call a yard dog. So that's what you should do. That's the best way to get out of that. Then we've heard people talking about, see what some of the other things.
I tell my fleet manager what I'm going to do.
Yeah, I run my fleet manager. I tell my fleet manager what to do. I tell him what I'm going to do and what I'm not going to do. And all this. Okay, well, that's great. There's only two people, well, three different kinds of people that say that. One is the old timer who just wants to see if you're going to do it. He doesn't do it himself. He just wants to see if you're going to do it. He wants to see if you're stupid enough to do it. That's it. The second kind is the kind of person who likes to talk big, and they talk, oh, I cuss my fleet manager out all the time. Then whenever he gets on the phone with his fleet manager, he's like, oh, man, it's a BS, man. I don't understand why. He's whiny, and he considers that cussing his fleet manager out. Third type is a person who actually does it. That person usually doesn't have a job in any place too long. You get back what you put in. You can say it many different ways. Karma, just rewards. There's lots of different ways of saying it. But the most basic way that I can explain it is you get what you put in. If you put out negativity, you put out, the air that you're hard to work with, hard to get along, then more than likely you're not going to be there long. And let me tell you something. If you're leasing and you're doing this and they decide they want to get rid of you, I mean, your fleet manager doesn't have to get you out of Prime. All he has to do is cut your loads down enough. Yes, it's going to hurt his pocketbook a little bit. Cut your loads down low enough to where you can't make your truck payments. And all he's got to do is send you those loads that he knows you're going to refuse. He knows you're going to refuse. He knows you're going to refuse. After about 3 weeks, if you're not going anywhere, you can't pay your truck note. Leasing's calling and telling you bring our truck back. Then, if you want to stay with Prime, you go and you drive a company truck. Well, guess what happens now? The fleets are set up where this fleet manager handles leasing. This fleet manager handles company. You're not going to have the same fleet manager. So if you call in cussing him out and you're low on loads, not saying that that's what's happening, but I'm saying that's what could be happening. What else do you have to put in? You had a lot to say on this earlier.
I do. But it's just one of those things. I mean, people, you do get what you give, and you definitely, you can blame it on other stuff, but basically it all comes back to how you treated your fleet manager to start with. I mean, they take a lot of stuff. They really do. It is definitely not a job I could do.
I mean, it's just like I was explaining to another driver here. Oh, and by the way, we are in Annville, Pennsylvania at the Hershey plant. We are at the Rudders, right down the road from the Hershey plant. We dropped our empty, came down here, called them back an hour later like they asked. They said your load's ready. We went. It was on an intermodal trailer. So now they're having to move our load from the intermodal to another trailer. Said it could be hours. We're trying to get home for the 21st for my doctor's appointment. So we're fingers crossed, hoping that they can use the trailer I brought in and have it started loading it with something else. Anyway, back to it. There is a YouTuber, not going to mention their name. The person was saying that Prime forced them to deadhead home. When I'm thinking, what? So I wanted to, because there are some people who have trouble with their fleet managers. They get off on the wrong foot and they never can find a footing. And so they clash the whole time. So I watched the video. This person refused to load because they said it was too many deadhead miles. Then they refused the second load that was sent to them because it had more deadhead miles, but it had an extra day. And they refused the third load. Then they deadheaded about 12 to 1,300 miles home. Then they refused the fourth load, telling their fleet manager, "This is the load I want." And then she's like, and lo and behold, the next day I got the load I wanted. Okay, you just spent 5 days out of 7 days not getting paid. And you use fuel. Even if you get 10 miles per gallon, 1,300 miles, that's a lot of fuel. And then the load you wanted was a great $3,400 load, but it's 3 days out.
Won't be on that check.
You won't get anything on that check, which is below a truck payment. Here is what I want to let y'all know. The planners or sales and our fleet managers work together to have a plan for us. Usually about a week out, depending on you. Because if you're constantly refusing loads, because it doesn't pay enough, because it doesn't this, and I know there's going to be a lot of people say different, okay? But I have proof that I have had loads coming out. And what is this driver was up where, I mean, the warehouses are closed on the weekend. You're on the weekend. You don't want to wait days, but yet it's Friday evening and you are expecting to get loaded in an area that no one works on the weekend. You know, it's like being in California expecting to get loaded on a Saturday or Sunday. Um, you know, it's not really going to happen. Very, very rarely does it happen. So They usually plan out. And I have taken a load out of Florida that paid 78 cents a mile to get out of Florida. Dropped it in Georgia. Took a load out of Georgia that paid $1.02 a mile and dropped it. It was in Montana. Then got a meat load paying $4,000, paying about $2.80 a mile heading out. Coming into here, I had two loads that paid about $1.20 a mile each, about $2,000 revenue each load. The two loads coming in, and this load is going to pay me $3 and something a mile going out. It's not getting me home, but it's getting me close enough to home that I can head home and make it to my doctor's appointment on Thursday. And we're hoping that, right after I finish making this, I'm going to lay down. So we're hoping to get that transferred over quick enough that I can get on the road. And, drive overnight is not what I was wanting to do after expecting to drive all day and being up all day. What else were you thinking about on this? I mean, just Jesus tells us in the Bible, treat others like you want to be treated. If you want to be cussed at, yelled at, and screamed at, and questioned every decision you make, that's you. Don't get upset when they start doing it to you, though.
Building a relationship with your fleet manager and sales will help you more in the long run than trying to argue with them and
trying to force your hand into the load that you want. I'm not leaving here until I get this load. But you know what? That load we're contracted probably. I'm just taking a basic warehouse. That load we're probably contracted to take one load a day or one load every other day. And there's probably fleet managers who have that load booked the next 2 days from now. And someone else has it booked 4 days from now. So you might be waiting 6 days for that load that you want. I mean, you're in it for that. Lease purchase. You get 3 loads available to you. You have a load board available to you. Book your own loads. I mean, that's the easiest way. That way, the only person you can call and scream at and holler and cuss is yourself. And you can see how hard that part of the job is. There are several lease purchase people who have micro fleets. There's some of them that love doing that, love dispatching their own drivers. There's some of them that have done it and been like, nope, no, no. Get that fleet manager back. I need to apologize to him. I mean, it's just to hear people say things and see stuff that's posted. Guys, number one, don't encourage other people to do it. If you're doing it yourself, that's great. Have at it. Have fun. It's going to come a time when one of two things are going to happen, and I guarantee you this. One or two things are going to happen. You're going to have to move companies, and you're going to always blame somebody else. You're the type of person that always blames somebody else for your downfalls. Or you're going to have to swallow your pride, eat that crow, apologize, and start over with that man or woman who's been dispatching. We had a list of some things that you should never say to your. Some of them it is meant to be funny, but some of them apply here.
Yeah, like what law we breaking today, boss?
Yeah, your fleet manager sends you a message or calls you. You look at what law are we breaking today, boss? That was the last company we worked at. Every time if they sent a message, it was legal. If they called you, if that phone rang, they were asking you to do something illegal. That's one of the reasons why we left that company.
I don't like you. I want the other guy.
That's for our night and our weekend is. I don't like you. I want the other guy. Put that other guy back on.
Bless your heart. You think I care?
That's a southern one.
That is so southern. New truck. Who's this?
I like that one. That's a nice Qualcomm message. Who truck? Who dis?
Hmm. That's about it.
That's
There's
about
a
it.
what does this button do click, but that's kind of like whenever you get on your last nerve with
On your
whoever you're
last serve,
talking
you're
to.
on the phone. You're like, "Hey, what does this button do?" Click. Oh, okay. But these are like you can tell we wanted it to be funny, but there's lots of things that you don't want to say, you don't want to do, you don't want to antagonize people. Um, the most important piece of information I can give you on this is treat others like you want to be treated. Like I said before, if you want to be cussed at, you want to be yelled at, you want to be questioned, you want to be, just treated like an animal, not like a human, then by all means do it. Because I was your fleet manager and you did that to me, I would do my best to make sure that you are not one of my drivers. And it would not take me long to be able to do that. I understand there are stressful situations. I understand that you call, you're upset, you start cussing. I called, I can say her name. They were covering for my fleet manager, and they were sending me from Pennsylvania to Ohio, delivering on the 20th with knowing it's been in my home time 20th through the 28th. The reason why I put it the 20th through the 20th is because I had a doctor's appointment I cannot miss on the 21st. And I called him, and whenever he answered the phone, I could tell in his voice, he was like, "When are you going to start yelling? When are you going to start?" I said, "Look, man," I said, "I'm not going to yell, I'm not going to cuss. I was just wondering if there was something else." He said, "No, there's nothing coming out of the Northeast until Monday." I said, "That's not what I'm talking about. I'm trying to get home. This is the reason why. It's been talking to my fleet manager for about a month about this." I said, "You know this. We've talked about this earlier today." He said, "That's the only thing I can find you." I said, "All right, well, if we don't have something closer, you know, if you can find something closer," he said, "I've already sent to the planner to try to find something closer." I said, "Okay, if I don't have a pre-plan and it's not drop and hook at both ends, I'm going to have to deadhead home. I cannot miss this doctor's appointment." He didn't yell at me. He didn't cuss me. He didn't do like I've heard many other drivers complain. I told them I was going to deadhead home. They told me, "F you, you can't do that. And I told them I'm a lease operator. I can do what I want. I'll pay for the fuel." That's all true. He did not yell at me. He did not raise his voice. He told me it sounds like a good plan because at this moment freight is light and I'm sorry. I told him I said I've done this a long time. You know, I know I'm just getting back into it, but freight doesn't really change year to year as far as their cycles. I know it's lighter December, January, and February. So I told him, I said, "No problem. We're just going to deal with it how we're going to deal with it. But I need to let you know if we can't find anything better, I have to be home on the 21st." And they were fine with it. And I have literally been standing next to another driver when he's yelling at his fleet manager, saying, "Oh, I'm going to dead end home." And I could hear his fleet manager hollering back, "No, you're not." So it goes both ways, people. And another thing I wanted to mention that came to mind while I was talking, and I've lost it now. This is why we write things down. See, I got a haircut. 2 months, no haircut. Finally got a haircut.
Like how cute.
But guys, it's not a cultural thing. It's not a
It's just a respect thing.
it's a respect thing. And Oh, that's what I want to say. On both Prime Unrestricted, Prime Uncensored, sorry, and Prime Really Uncensored, let me tell you something. Number one, there are more people that don't work for Prime in those Facebook pages than do. We need to weed out the people who don't, honestly, because they start crap and then they say, you need to come to my company. Here's my driver code. PM me. We'll talk. That's just wrong, number one. Number two, I've seen on both of them posted, oh, sales, it's been leaked out that sales said, wait till these people that went home come back in late December, early January. We got something waiting for them. We're not going to give them loads. We're going to give them crap loads and all. Well, let me tell you, your fleet managers, the planners and sales, checks reflect what your check is. Now, I've talked to people and they said about 80 to 85% of the fleet's going home for Christmas. Even a lot of them that went home for Thanksgiving are going home for Christmas again. Most of them are spending 2 to 3 weeks at home. It's fine. We're going home for a week. Do not expect freight to be great when you come back. As I mentioned earlier, December, January, and February are slow freight months. Slow for everything. The only thing really is moving is food.
Or exercise stuff.
Yeah, exercise equipment. But a lot of those places already have that in their warehouses waiting to distribute to their stores. They've already ordered it when they could order it in bulk cheaper right before Christmas.
Yep.
So when you come out, do not expect those $3,000, $4,000 loads. Do not expect a lot of loads. I'm going to tell you now, it's going to be light, it's going to be lean, and more than likely, most people have not saved money. So you can't afford to not take loads. And this crap that we've seen on the Facebook pages where, oh, the first load they always throw you out a crap load to see if you'll bite. No, that's not how it is. They have a plan. They pay someone specifically to make a plan for you. Your next few loads. Unless it's light like it is now. Then they throw at you what they have. The first one is not always the best one, but it doesn't mean it's not the best one. Okay? Here's another thing. And just use your mind on this. Okay? Think about this. I want you to think about this. You're sitting there, you're the fleet manager, you're the planner, your sales, whatever. You have 4 trucks in the area, 1 load. 4 trucks in the area, 1 load. Now, it could be that 3 of the drivers have already refused several loads going into this area. So they know you don't want to go into this area. So they're not going to offer to them. They're going to offer to that 4th driver, right? But what if it's a good area that all 4 drivers would love to go to? It pays $3.50, $4 a mile. Who's going to get it? Who would you give it to? Would you give it to one of those 3 drivers that are always calling, yelling, cussing? I mean, they watch these Facebook pages too. They're looking at it. Corporate's in these Facebook pages. And I'll give you an example of that in a minute. But they see how you talk about it. Really think that 4th driver who's always courteous, never cussing, does occasionally refuse loads. There's a reason behind it. Calls, talks to the fleet manager instead of yelling at him. You don't think he's not going to get it? You know yourself, you give it to that 4th driver. If nothing else, just to stick it to the other 3, right? So So how I know that they watch these Prime uncensored, and they don't censor it. They don't. They watch it. I know a driver who just got into training. He is a company driver for a microfleet. He complained that since he's been driving in training, that all he's gotten is solo loads. That he's not making that extra money that they promised that he would make. Right now, like loads are light. There's not a lot of team loads going around. Well, he complained about it, and I didn't get to see the initial post, but a lot of people just jumped on and started. Yeah, we don't need to be training right now. Don't train until it gets better. Don't, and a whole bunch of other crap. And he got a call from corporate, not his fleet manager. He got a call from corporate higher ups. Told him he needed to take it down, and if he had a problem, he needed to keep it to himself or call his fleet manager because he was discouraging people from training, stopping people who really wanted to make money. Now, this guy runs. This guy has always been nice to me, but I have seen him, go off on other people. But the thing about it is he made the mention. A whole lot of other people posted worse things than me in response to what I said. Are you going to call them? They said, no, you started it. You instigated it. We're calling you to put an end to it. And he told them, he says, how can I go on and lie? And I wouldn't feel good about myself going on and lying. He said, well, then take it down. And he refused to take it down. Now, there's been he hasn't been written up or anything about it, but they did call. That's how I know they watch. If you own a company as big as Prime, wouldn't you watch every single thing that's posted about Prime? If you could, I know I would. So keep that in mind when you're posting on these. Also keep in mind that there are people out there like me, like Lyle from No Hippie Trucking, like Terry from Tim Travels. You get in touch with one of us with a problem, and we're going to help you solve it. You get in touch with one of us with, I high hooks my trailer. We're going to help you get it. Don't post in these Facebook groups. You know, don't, because 90% of them are going to make fun of you, and the other 10% are going to give you solutions that are probably going to cause more damage than what it's going to fix. So,
Which the group shouldn't be about that, but instead of helping each other, a lot of times it's just causing strife.
it's people wanting drama and wanting to create drama and want to be in the middle of the drama. Me and Lyle talked a little bit about starting a Facebook page, but we came to the conclusion that it would be just too much to try to moderate. And being as we both drive, it's just too much. Already, the reason why we didn't post for the last couple of weeks is we got a head cold. We both got head colds. So what we were doing, we didn't want to make a video looking sick and looking down and looking, worn out. We would drive 10, 11 hours, take medicine, sleep, get up, drive, take medicine, sleep. So all we've been doing. In fact, I'm about to hit the bump just because we don't know when they're going to finish this load. We're hoping to be on the road. We'll probably be driving overnight. Anything else you want to add to it? We are going to make a post tomorrow about our elves. Do an elf report, explaining why the elf report hasn't been being done. All right. Then we're gonna actually schedule a couple posts because it was just too much when we were sick. We didn't expect to get sick. And then there will be elf reports up until Christmas Eve. So if you have kids, grandkids that watch the elf report, it will be back up being posted tomorrow. So we will make a posting. If you have any questions, as always, I'll put my contact number in the description and my email. Feel free to contact me. We're always willing to help. Best way to get in touch with me is a text. Let me know who you are and what you need. And as soon as I stop, I will get to you. If it's important, send 2 or 3 texts in a row, and then I'll have my wife read it to me. And I guess that's it.
Have a good night.
Have a good night. And as always, keep your shiny side up, your rubber side down, and your bears between the ditches. We'll catch you later.